People hear the name of the city of Wuhan, they might immediately recognize it as the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, the pandemic has left traumatizing marks still haunting this city of over 10 million people when I came there over 2 months ago. For instance, the fences erected during that time were still everywhere in the city and obstructed the movement of people. However, I believe that this city shouldn't be simply remembered as the origin of a deadly virus. Instead, there is much more worth telling here, and so in this video we will delve into different aspects of this city. Dubbed as the Nine Provinces Thoroughfare, Wuhan is strategically situated at the confluence of the Yangtze, China's longest river, and the Han, the largest tributary of Yangtze. These have helped develop Wuhan into one of China's largest cities and arguably the largest city in central China. Though now we call Wuhan one single city, historically it has not been like that. In fact, it used to be three towns separated by the Yangtze River and Han River. They were namely Hankou in the northwestern part, Hanyang in the southwestern part, and Wuchang in the southeastern part. They would together form the city of Wuhan after the three towns were merged in 1927, less than a century ago. However, the history of this whole city was much longer, for as long as over 2 millennia. This area has been continuously settled since 1500 BCE, and in the 3rd century CE, the first city in this region was established on the Serpent's Hill in what is now Wuchang, and its city walls can be still seen today. In the 13th century CE, Wuchang became the provincial capital of the province of Hubei. And in the early modern age, Hankou became a very important trading center in China. It gained its name as one of China's 4 great markets, in which were commercial centers that were developed during that time due to its advantageous location. When Western powers began to engage in trade with China in the mid-19th century, Hankou became one of China's most important commercial centers. It was first in 1862 that international concessions began to be established in this place of Hankou. And the international concessions, by the way, were territories that were leased by China to the international powers, so that they were under their jurisdiction, their administration, and have extraterritoriality, which means they are subject to not the Chinese law, but the law of the ruling power. And the international concessions in Hankou would continue to exist for nearly a century until 1946, when the last of the concessions, the French concession, was officially returned to China. And during this period, Hankou has developed into one of China's largest cities, with a population of over 1 million people. And on the other part of the city, Wuchang was also very important in Chinese history. In October 10, 1911, an uprising broke out in the city, leading to a full-fledged revolution that overthrew China's last dynasty. And therefore, the city of Wuchang is considered to be the birthplace of the republic. Wuhan has its very unique cultural identity, including but not limited to its language, food, and architecture. This is also partly influenced by its cityscape, one scattered with lakes of different sizes. Situated in the center of a plain, its abundance of large rivers, as well as lakes of different sizes, have contributed to a high concentration of the water bodies in this city and its surrounding areas. In fact, the region what is now Wuhan used to be a very large lake and many thousand years ago until it began to dry up. And the unique climate of this area also made Wuhan one of China's hottest places. In fact, it is known as one of the three great furnaces, three large cities along China's Yangtze River, notorious for their extremely high temperature during summer. And this has partly influenced its architecture. For instance, when I came there, I saw a very large bunker under a hill that has been scheduled to open for citizens and residents of this town as a refugee from the hotness of the summer and during its opening times. And just as I walk past its gate, I can already feel the cool temperature inside it. And also decades of the rule of international concession, which I've mentioned here, have made it a prospering commercial center. And this is also thanks to its advantageous geographical location. And so in Hankou, one can still see the Western-style buildings of all varieties built nearly a century ago. And this city has effects on its architecture. For instance, three large cities along the Yangtze River, notorious for their extremely high temperatures. And this has used